Okay, before going ahead, I want to discuss one point with you, which I heard yesterday in Prabhuji's class. It was really amazing point. See, when we understand and accept that nothing belongs to us, nor this laptop, nor this mobile phone, wife, this house, or whatever things you have, when we understand and we accept that nothing belongs to me, so by this, you actually develop a deep sense of respect for everything and everybody. Do you agree with this? Because basically, when you are accepting this thing that nothing belongs to me, so you are actually seeing everything in relation to Krishna. When you see when you see things or people in relation to Krishna, then you automatically have respect for those people or things, because immediately we understand that this thing or person or whatever thing, it actually belongs to Krishna. But as soon as we think that something belongs to us, we actually have a sense of enjoyment, which has a sense of disrespect. Are you getting this thing? Because when we see things that this thing belongs to me, then immediately we have a tendency of enjoying that particular thing or person. And when we think of enjoying that particular thing or person, we will actually end up exploiting that thing or person, because at that time in our center there will be sense gratification. So this was really amazing point, that it is very amazing that, see, this is very amazing point, that you can actually have all things of the world, but not even one thing belongs to you. When person understand these things, he accept this thing, then he is actually free. One more realization I want to share with all of you. 2 days ago, I had a session with certain people of certain group. So I had a session. I discussed the difference between animals and human beings, and basically how to get ultimate happiness in our life, permanent happiness. So after the session got completed, so the host of that particular group, basically who is leading that group, she talked with me. She's a nice girl, but she was actually calling me with my name. Basically, uh, generally we say Prabhuji or Mataji to whomsoever we see, but she was calling me with my name. So I was not affected from that thing. That, oh, how is she calling me by my name? She's taking my name. How? Because basically I was able to observe this thing, that earlier if I was something in when I was earlier when I was in some profession, I would have been in some profession of anything, that can be anything. Basically, they were assuming that I am a spiritual teacher, but it's not like that. I'm not a teacher or something. But yeah, what I was observing, that earlier, if I would have this profession of me being a teacher or a designer or anything, then I would have been identifying myself with all those things, with all those designations. And I would have been wanting people to give me some respect. This was for sure. But this time I was observing that I was not hankering for any respect or something. That, oh, people should praise me, that I'm doing such a great work, or things like that. So, are you understanding this thing? I was just thinking that it's okay if even she's calling me by my name. So, she's not actually calling me. She is seeing this body and she is basically calling me by my name, assuming that I'm this body. But I'm actually not this body. I am a soul and she can't even see me. So basically, what I want to share is that when we understand this true knowledge, this true wisdom, then we actually experience so much liberation already from these unnecessary things. And if you are still not understanding this thing, then you just see people around you who are so much engrossed in all these things. They are so much in anxiety that I should be respected, I should get respect from other people should praise me, or I should become this, I should become that. People are just running after all these things, and this is really a big misery. But I was very happy when I was able to observe this thing, that these things are not affecting me. I don't want anything. I'm doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna, and uh, this is actually important. All right, now we will be continuing our discussion from where we left. Basically, we were discussing about this thing only, that how we have elevated consciousness, but then also if we are busy doing animalistic things, then we are actually not utilizing the potential of this human form of life. One who is intelligent should be eager to solve these four principal problems: birth, death, old age, and disease. No one wants to die, but there is no remedy. Is it not? Everyone has to die. Everyone is very anxious to stop the skyrocketing increase of population by employing contraceptive methods, but still birth is going on. So, yeah, this is true that people are not able to stop death of the people, and they are actually not even to stop the birth also of the people. You see how population is increasing? And Prabhupada tells very simple thing that there is no problem in increasing the population. But what population is actually doing? This is very important thing. So there is no problem in raising kids and increasing population, but for what purpose? This one should understand. Because you will see that animals are also raising kids, they are also increasing population, but they're just, they are animals and they will do animalistic things, but we are actually human beings. Very amazing thing. His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj was telling that out of all these species, human beings are, the population of human beings is very less as compared to other species. So human beings are very less, and out of human beings also devotees are very, 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 like you will find very rarely that any person is devoted to Krishna. So yes, they are not even able to control birth. What to say of death? There is no stoppage of death and there is no stoppage of birth, nor can diseases be stopped, nor can old age, despite all of the latest inventions in medicine. One more amazing thing Prabhuji was discussing in yesterday class. It was really an amazing and mind-blowing class. Yesterday's Gita class. Prabhuji was basically saying that you will see people, they are so much busy in doing lots of sacrifices, lots of austerities. They will fast on this day, that day. They will observe fast on different days. And they will do lots of austerities, basically. Just like Prabhuji was telling that um, people, even actually Prabhuji was telling about devotees only, that even after coming into Krishna consciousness, devotees are so much into doing other things. Just like yesterday, when Mataji was asking me that, do you do Dhanteras? So I said, what to do on Dhanteras? So she told me certain things that worshipping money, buying coriander seeds, and I don't know what things she was telling me. And I said, no, devotees of Krishna, the purpose of Krishna's devotees is to please Krishna, right? And Krishna, when you are chanting holy names of Krishna, when you are hearing about him, so Krishna is very pleased with those things. So, okay, if you really want to do something on Dhanteras, then do you know that Krishna performed an amazing pastime on this day? Today is Dhanteras, right? So, yeah, you can hear that pastime of Krishna, Lord Dhanvantri, and another incarnation of Krishna, Lord Krishna. So, you may hear that pastime of Krishna if you really want to do something new. And tomorrow is Diwali, probably. So, you can hear Damodar Leela of Krishna. Krishna performed Damodar Leela tomorrow, means on the day of Diwali, Deepavali. So you can hear that. So basically, devotees are always into pleasing Krishna. That's it. Their only business is to please Krishna and nothing else. So yes, Prabhuji was telling this thing that even after coming into Krishna consciousness, devotees are so much into these things that we will do this, that. So this is showing that they still have lack of faith, that only worshipping Krishna will give us everything. There's still lack of faith. If you really like, if you are so much creative, let's say, and if you are someone who wants to do new things on special occasions, then you do it for Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. And I checked Vaishnava calendar. In Vaishnava calendar, it was not mentioned about Dhanteras or Deepavali, nothing. There was no information about these festivals on Vaishnava calendar. So one should actually follow Vaishnava calendar, and you will see almost every day there is some occasion. Appearance, appearance day, disappearance day. And there are so many things. So you can actually hear about the exalted devotees of Krishna. That will help you to progress in your spiritual life. All these austerities, observing fast on this day, that day, we have always been doing this now when we were not Krishna conscious. But were we satisfied with all these things? One should really ponder on these things, that we were actually doing all these things when we were not Krishna conscious, but if we were not satisfied. And now we are following we are practicing same program every single day, but then also we are satisfied, we are experiencing happiness because our Lord is pleased. So one should actually understand this thing. One might think that he has solved all the problems of his life, but where is the solution to these four problems of birth, death, old age, and disease? So, yes, Prabhuji was telling this thing that you will see that Matajis, they will observe Karwa Chauth fast. Have you heard of this? Karwa Chauth for uh, say so that the age of her husband may increase. But will that make your husband uh, means will he get eternal life? Will he be alive in this material world for always, for eternal time? No, right? No matter how many fasts you are observing, Karwa Chauth, this Chauth, that Chauth. But will that make your husband, will he live in this material world forever? And don't you see those people, like there are many families I have seen, they've performed so many austerities. I know one Mataji, she lives behind our house, basically the house which I'm residing right now. So she just lives behind that house. So I remember that she was so much into all these spiritual things, so much engrossed in serving demigods, this demigod, that demigod, every day. And she used to observe so many fasts, like so many. But then also, she lost her husband in very young age. Means not young age, but in her 40s or 45. 40s, yeah. Now, now definitely people who worship demigods, they do have some benefits of that. But one should understand that that will not give them eternal benefits. We are spiritual being, we are eternal, and we always aspire for eternal things, eternal benefits. Is it not? We never want to die. We want to live long. We want to live for always. No one wants to die. And other things, we want eternal happiness. We never want to get distressed. So because we are eternal being, we always aspire for eternal things. But if people, if they are engrossed in these temporary things, then they will end up getting temporary benefits from that, and then they will end up distressing. So this is important that one should understand that these things will not give them eternal benefits. If you really aspire for eternal benefits, then you serve Krishna. Of course, this is not the reason to serve Krishna. But yeah, one should understand this thing that Krishna can only bless you with eternal life. So one might think that he has solved all the problems of his life, but where is the solution to these four problems of birth, death, old age, and disease? That solution is Krishna consciousness. Every one of us is giving up his body at every moment. And the last phase of giving up this body is called death. But Krishna also says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah taktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah Tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mamiti so Arjuna. Very amazing shloka that anyone who understands that uh, all the basically whatever activities Krishna do, those are transcendental and not ordinary. Just any person, if he understand this, and he's not assuming Krishna as an ordinary man, then he will never take birth in this material world again. Now this is very very amazing thing, and I also want to put one more thing here, which His Grace Yashramati Mataji told that yes, she quoted it from Srimad Bhagavatam that anyone who faithfully hears or describes the Lord's playful affairs with the young gopis of Vrindavana, okay, faithfully, he should have firm faith. And see, my dear devotees, you can really observe this thing. Immediately, you can test this that whether you have firm faith or not. You just become observe, become aware that in your heart, do you have tendency to only serve Krishna, or do you still have some, you know, you still want to give some space to other people also, to other demigods? See, when we discuss these topics, then we are not against demigods. You can definitely pay your humble obeisances to demigods and other people. You can definitely pay your humble obeisances, especially to demigods. But one should understand that we are soul and our actual relation is with Supreme Soul, Krishna, Supreme Personality. So our duty is that we completely surrender to Krishna only. Complete surrender. And this, any person can do this when he actually understand, when he actually accept this that yeah, Krishna is Supreme Personality. It's really not, it's really not enough to say that yeah, I understand Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do you really accept it? And if you really accept it, then you will not fear, you will not you will not be in doubt that whether I should really surrender completely whether I should really surrender myself completely to Krishna. You just check it in your heart that are you completely giving your space to Krishna, giving space in your life to Krishna, or you still aspire, you still desire to give space to other people, or basically to demigods in your life. So, anyone who faithfully hears or describes the Lord's playful affairs with the young gopis of Vrindavana will attain the Lord's pure devotional service, and thus he will quickly become sober and conquer lust, the disease of the heart. So, one devotee asked this thing that by reading about the loving exchanges of divine couple, we can overcome the anartha of lust. We can conquer lust. And at the same time, we all know that in general, we are directed not to dwell on the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So, any person who is faithfully understanding this thing, he is very much accepting this thing that yes, Krishna is not an ordinary man. So, basically, One can't go wrong by following a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. A keyword is a keyword in this verse is faith. So if one thinks that Krishna is an ordinary man, then he will not progress as expected. So this is very important point. Same way, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So it's just that easy. And this complete faith develops gradually with time when we keep on hearing about Krishna consistently. This is very much important. So, the people to whomsoever you preach, you just make sure that they are consistent in whatever they are doing. Even if they are not able to take out enough time for their hearing, you just ask them to hear for only 10 minutes. But you be consistent. If they are not able to chant 16 or more rounds, means more rounds, then you just make sure that they are chanting few rounds, even one round, or even 11 Mahamantras. But they should be consistent in that. There are many things to discuss, but we'll go forward because we have less time. What happens to such a person? Mam eti. He returns to Krishna. If we are to go to Krishna, we must prepare a spiritual body. That preparation is the process of Krishna consciousness. If one keeps himself in Krishna consciousness, he gradually prepares his next body, a spiritual body, which will carry him immediately to Krishna Loka, Krishna's abode, and he will become happy living there perpetually and blissfully. So, see, one devotee asked me yesterday, he's neophyte, so he asked me about the difference between Krishna's soul and his body. Something related to this question. And he asked that question in innocency. That's completely fine. So I made him understand that there is no difference between Krishna and his transcendental body. We are here in this material world. We are actually trapped in this material body. So there is difference between our body and our soul. But it's not the same case with Krishna. Anyone when we will get liberated from this material world, from this material body, then we will get a spiritual body. And that time, when we will be in our spiritual body, then there will be no difference in our spiritual body and ourselves. So this is very deep point to understand, because many people commit offenses assuming that there is difference between Krishna and his body. They assume that Krishna's body is material. They don't understand that it's transcendental. So this is very important thing to understand, that there is no difference between Krishna and his transcendental body. Okay. And one more point I will speak here, and then we'll end our discussion. Today I watched one story of a devotee in which he was sharing his whole Krishna consciousness journey, that how he came into Krishna consciousness and now how he's living his life so purely, and his whole family is being devoted to Krishna now. So he shared one point that when he used to go to attend the lecture in temple, so one devotee made one point. Basically, he was making understand one point, that there are two people. One person, there are two persons. One person is someone who is not following four regulative principles. He consumes non-veg, he drinks, and he's into gambling and all those things. And there is another, and he's not into devotional services at all. And there is another person who is also not following four regulative principles. He is also consuming non-veg, he is also consuming alcohol, intoxications, gambling, illicit sex, and all things. But he is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, who is great out of these two persons? So, people said that that person who is not following purity in his life and he is not performing any devotional services also. But is it true? No. See, this is also very false conception of people that they think that any person, if he is uh, committing sinful activities, he's not performing purity in life, then he can't do any devotional services. For performing devotional services, he first have to perform purity in his life. But this is really not true. Any person, no matter whatever he is doing in his life, he can start serving Krishna from wherever he is. So yes, that person who is not following any purity in his life, but he's still chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, holy names of Krishna, then in future, just by chanting consistently the holy names of Lord, he will get purified. And this is what that devotee shared in his Krishna consciousness journey. That I used to consume non-veg and I was assuming that if I will quit consuming non-veg, then I may die. I can't live without consuming non-veg and all the other things. But he was just chanting. He told that I used to wake up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning and I used to chant out loud. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He used to constantly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra out loud. And when I'm saying loud, he used to shout, and his neighbor used to get disturbed. So, yeah, he was consistent in his chanting, and by time he himself was sharing this, that I even didn't notice that when I quitted consuming non-veg or all the gambling, intoxication, and all the other things. I didn't even notice, but just by chanting, it happened naturally. So this is the potency of this great Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So you just make them chant Hare Krishna. Don't focus on other things. If they are not able to grab any philosophy or other things, that's completely fine. You just make them chant Hare Krishna. And Krishna will bless that person with intelligence. There were lot of things which I wanted to discuss, but we will end our discussion here and we will continue it in our next class if Krishna is willing. Our second chapter of the book, Krishna Consciousness, Matchless Gift, completes here, and we will start with our next chapter in our next class if Krishna is willing. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.